Sometimes on an algorithm, there's so many things on TikTok that the algorithm hates you for dumb reason. Like little things if you use them. Even at Twitch HQ, I was like, yo, can you guys, work on this and that, feed them ways of fixing it. And then Dan Clancy turning around and going, cool, I'm going to go into the karaoke room. And it's like, thanks, Dan. Glad you listened. The thing with content is it's not about what you make. It's about how you make it. You could make anything. All forms of creating videos and anything, it's always about storytelling and evoking some kind of emotion. It doesn't matter what you make. If you want to make content, think about, would you watch your own content? And if you don't watch your own content or don't want to, or you think you're boring, guess what other people are gonna think? Yeah, I guess rather than giving 5 tips, I'll give 1. It's be
G'day everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Creator Dashboard. I am the Jury, and I'm here with Phizzi, who is quite a fantastic content creator. I don't know if you have seen him before. He's a bit everywhere. Phizzi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm a bit tired. Content creator life gets you worn out. But
Late nights, early mornings.
yeah, early mornings. What's that? Oh, actually, no.
I was in America, so I keep waking up at like 7 a.m. and going to bed at like 3. So I'm like,
I made that joke, but I actually have a daughter who gets me up at 6:30 every morning, so I actually don't have a choice.
Natural alarm clock.
Natural alarm clock. My body clock set like weekends. Like, what's the sleep in? I don't even have that. It's great.
Nope.
Oh yeah, it's full on. So for everyone who's tuning in, Phizzi is a remarkable content creator who's quite active across pretty much every single channel. Now, Phizzi, are you full time?
I am, and saying active is probably a stretch at the moment, but I do have a presence on all of them. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, like you've got quite a lot of experience in this, and we were just talking just before we went live that you also run your own talent agency.
Yeah, that's a little thing on the side. I've taken to doing just a bunch of projects recently. One of them is attempting to work with ANZ creators behind the scenes. And we do that with Gamer Talent, which is also a talent agency, but we have a little TikTok wing where we take some people on. I think we only have about 15 people at the moment. And the objective is to go, hey, we think you'd do pretty good on TikTok. Let's work together. And obviously we have a couple people that A, have done really well, or B, are like me that, have spent time. This is predominantly on live, but we also help people with some short form stuff if they ask. Honestly, we just help them with whatever they ask, which most of the time is not a lot.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, that's awesome. And you're also the the community manager for Twitch Melbourne as well.
Yeah, I am 1/3 of the community meetups in Melbourne, Australia. Previously, was 1/3 or 4th of the meetups in Brisbane. So I've been doing that for probably like 7 years now, which is a good way to kind of create community. And next year we actually have a lot of plans. It'll be pretty fun. So if you're in Melbourne, keep an eye on Twitch Melbourne on Twitter. And on Blue Sky, and just in case you want to get out of that absolute cesspool.
Oh, it's just getting out of control. These social media platforms. It's starting to turn into a real red versus blue between the two. It's frustrating.
You just log on and you're like, I'm depressed. Immediately. There's no way.
Yeah, no, it's not good. Anyway, so you have quite the broad portfolio. You're a bit everywhere. So, where did you actually start with content creation? You said you've been doing it for 7 years, was it?
Oh, technically, the start was a lot longer than that. I started technically in 2009.
Wow.
I don't know what I did first. Originally, I don't know if you remember these days, I bought a HD PVR and started recording Call of Duty content. This is a long time ago. This is like the precursor to capture cards, pretty much. So yeah, we had a little trick shotting clan, and we started doing that. And then
360 no scope.
I think around the same time I started editing, mostly just because I wanted to learn editing AMVs, which are
anime music videos.
Anime music videos, yeah.
So that's what got me loving Linkin Park.
Yeah,
I don't.
God, there are
There
definitely
was
some songs on repeat there.
what was it? In the end, there was a AMV of In the End and Naruto, the fight between Naruto and Sasuke on the waterfall. Like, and that was just like I used to binge that, and I was like hooked on it, and yeah.
Yeah, I used to also make ASMVs, which is like animated story music videos.
Oh,
So they're pretty interesting. It'd be like, here's a theme, and then here's a bunch of philosophical conversation over the top of people beating each other up. Good time.
that's interesting.
Good
I
time.
actually don't think I ever saw any of those, but that's interesting.
They're still on my YouTube channel, funnily enough.
Like
It's
the Fizzy one.
yeah, yeah, on the main one. They're
Oh
just
wow.
real far back. I didn't public any of them because they still actually have people. I think the other day I got a comment on my objective was to take all of One Piece and make it into an ASMV that you could watch in like, I don't know, 30 minutes and get the gist. So I did all the way up to Alabasta, which is about 180 episodes. 180? Nah, not even that. Like 125 episodes into One Piece. And someone the other day commented, they're like, "With part two, this released in like 2011 or something."
So I have a very similar thing, except mine was like playthroughs of just like, I think the last game I did on this channel, which I won't mention because it's on a different channel, was State of Decay.
Mm.
And I was doing like a playthrough of that, and then like it's just suddenly stopped, and then like people like I'd log into it every now and then, and people would like there's comments going, and this was the last episode, and like it was like 5 years ago that they've commented or like similar thing like where's the next part and stuff like that. So,
I had such a traumatic experience on State of Decay 1. Like,
yeah,
I thought the main character that you were with was
would
like, that's
respawn.
it, the main
He,
character,
yeah.
come back. And I'm just
Hmm.
wandering through a cornfield and get literally ripped in half. I never see that character again after like 20 hours. And I was just, it's like, wow, that's what life's like. One day you're good, the next day you get ripped in half in a cornfield, and that's it.
I had an exact same experience. That's why I love the game so much, because like it made you realize how important like being smart was. Because
It's
like
just
the
like,
main
oh,
character, that dude, and I was like, oh yeah, this guy's sick. And hey, you train them up, they get stronger and stuff like that. They get all their skills. And then like that was the first time I ran into one of those like running ones, and yeah, just ripped in half. And I was like, what the fuck?
it's like the permadeath on World of Warcraft that they're doing at the moment, where you make a
Yeah,
character on like hardcore classic. If you die, character
yeah.
deleted. It's
It
like
just makes
that.
you value your get in game life a lot more. I think it's a really good concept. I think more games should should incorporate that.
On a really random tangent, I did see. Have you ever played WoW?
Oh, yeah, I tried. I tried.
Or do you know what like a zeppelin is? It's like the big airships that take you between parts of the map. Um,
I'm gonna nod like I do know. Yep.
well, anyway, you jump on these big airships and then you get taken halfway across the map, and they're pretty high up. If you fall off, you'll die. And in the World of Warcraft hardcore, it's very funny. It has like a system that tracks people's last messages. And it's just like, oh yeah, man, I'm waiting for a Zeppelin. And he's like level 40, and that was the last message. And then it just said X died in Durotar, and everyone's just like, oh,
Or they fall
he
off it
fell
or
off the
something.
he fell off the
Oh,
Zeppelin.
no.
So sad.
That's actually that's really sad. Like it can that there's real life situations of that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's like dying. You fall onto a train track in real life and die.
Yeah.
You never
Well, it's
expect
like
it,
the
but it
last message
happens.
you've ever received from someone. That's wild.
So sad.
So so you started in YouTube, and then so obviously that was a long time ago, and then picked it like I guess kept going all the way through to now.
I think yeah. So many of you guys watching are Australian. You remember how terrible our internet was.
Oh yeah,
Um, all the way up to like
it took
I
me
don't
like
know
3 days to
2016.
upload a 10-minute video.
Yeah, I think in 2015 I started. So I did YouTube. I pretty much stopped. I stopped doing the ASMVs. Stopped doing Call of Duty because school ended. So we moved on.
Work.
Went to uni. Realized I absolutely despised university, and I wasn't learning anything new. Don't do business and IT, kids. You don't learn anything, especially if you're computer literate and have a brain. You won't learn anything. Um, and then I started 2015 October. I finally got internet, and it was like the connection was like 50 down and like 2.5 up.
That's pretty good for
And I was like, that's
2015.
good enough. So then I started streaming. It took me about a year to get partnered. So 2016
Oh,
December. I think I got partnered, which is wild considering the bitrate we were streaming on
Yeah.
was like 1,000. Um, there was another Twitch streamer at the time that had the same problem. They unfortunately passed away a while back. The name
Oh,
was Woody, if you remember them. Um, I say Woody, Waddy. Even I'm forgetting names at this point. But yeah, they had the same thing. They also streaming on like 800 kilobits a second, so completely screwed. But also
yeah.
got partnered, so it was doable.
Oh,
But yeah, that was in 2015/2016. So
yep.
did that. I only started TikTok last year
Yeah, right.
in like February.
Oh, okay. That's okay. So, did you pivot like quite a lot to TikTok, or are you still like trying to dabble a bit in Twitch?
I've streamed like twice in a month on Twitch.
Yeah.
I've also only streamed twice this month on TikTok, so not a lot there as well. I'd say honestly, I've been pretty slack, but when TikTok did start taking off, I did pivot a lot to that.
Yep.
But I was still doing Twitch at the same time, just less because, well, as a creator, your time is finite,
Yeah.
and I definitely, I encourage people to spend their time where your time can best be spent.
That's fair. That's a very good point. I've recently started like I was going thinking about starting streaming again. Just because like I felt like I had the time to do it, but like even though I enjoy streaming and I enjoy like you know being live and like I was playing League and stuff like that and I actually enjoying it, funnily enough. I just figured my time was not best spent live when I could be working on YouTube videos and stuff like that,
Mm,
which I'm monetized on YouTube, so like that's what I'm going to get paid for. Like Twitch is such a slog to make any progress. Like I
yeah,
might as
I
well
mean,
just work on videos.
it's always about finding that balance, right? You,
Yeah.
you you look at yourself as a creator and you're like, what do I like doing? I happen to like talking a lot to a live
Mhm.
audience. It does not pay me, it does not grow, but I like doing it a lot.
Mm.
So I will, like, in order of priority, it's like get this done, and then I can do that. Like Elden Ring comes out, you'll see me live every day for for a while because my priority is I want to play Elden Ring, and I may as well stream that.
Yeah, fair
Um,
enough.
so yeah, that's how, like, one way to avoid burnout. It's like, what's the thing you really like doing?
Mm.
Which for me is streaming, even if it's not, because life's not all about this is a return on time investment. Sometimes it's about this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I mean that's very fair. My tricky thing is I enjoy all of it, and I don't
Mm.
have the time to commit to all of it. So
Yeah,
I've got to
at
look
that at
at
that point, it's what's the most valuable.
yeah,
What do
what's
you
the most
value the
valuable.
most?
Like I could go live and like because I got ADHD, my mind's like, oh, I really like this at the moment, and then I really like this at the moment. I got to keep reminding myself, no, if you keep doing that, you're gonna make no progress. So I mean, it's quite tricky. So what's your kind of focus now? So obviously, I'm guessing TikTok seems to be a bit more of your focus these days.
Honestly, I'm just coming off a pretty long hiatus. The TikTok algorithm hates me, but that's fun because you get to go again. But TikTok is the main focus. Like in order of priority, it's like, hey, try and get a TikTok video out a day, you know?
Hmm.
Not succeeding in that today, but that's fine. The other one is, hey, make a YouTube video every now and then. Yeah, so the primary is TikTok. I used to obviously you've heard the adage, it's like work harder, not smart. Work smarter, not harder. Shit, the other
Yeah.
way around. It was I would make a YouTube video that would conveniently like cut down into a
Yeah.
bunch of TikTok videos.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a brain rot way of doing YouTube, where it's like, oh, all of these like videos, games that I'm covering in 60 seconds. Oh, I conveniently break down perfectly into TikTok. So yeah, a lot of the video structure was like that initially.
Yeah, I did notice that. Because like so, just for anyone who's watching who doesn't know, Phizzy covers a lot of indie games. And what? How do you brand yourself? You brand yourself as the game dealer. Was that it?
Your local game dealer, and
Local
I
game
don't
dealer.
necessarily cover indie games. It's just
Oh,
games that you might miss, games that I like.
yep.
People refer to me as a reviewer, and I'm like, I inherently don't review things. I just tell you things that I like.
Yeah. I
Because to
like this
review
game.
things is to critique. You know, I don't
Yeah.
really critique them. I'm just like, I like this, and if I don't like it, I don't cover it, unless it's funny to cover it, and then I'll cover it.
Would you cover like a game that you don't like, or you don't like that kind of approach to the content?
It's
Because there's a
rare
lot of
on
people that
TikTok.
there's a lot of people that do the rage kind of baiting and like the controversial kind of topics.
It's definitely rare on TikTok. I do it every now and then. Like
Yeah.
I've done videos of like these are the most overrated games, and looking right at Ghost of Tsushima 2. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of
Oh,
Tsushima 2 is coming out. That's a very average game, a very pretty game, very good
yeah.
tech demo for when the PlayStation 4 was reaching its end cycle. But
Mm,
look, it was not that good a game. There were like 5 things you could do in the entire open world. So every
yeah.
now and then we'll do some rage baiting stuff for some engagement. On Twitch though, Twitch is a lot more loose, and it's I don't care about how many views we get there.
Yeah.
So I will actively play games that I think could be really terrible. I've only done it once, but I really want to do it again. We did this thing where we played a game that had very mixed reviews at the moment it came out, the Callisto Protocol, if you know that one.
Oh, I heard of it. That was
It's by half of the Dead Space team, one of the
yep.
two dead. Retroactively, we worked out who was the better developer of the two. But we put a health bar up on this, and every time the game committed a sin, it would lose health. Every time it did something good, it would gain health. If it ever died, we would uninstall it. Um, so that was very fun. The game actually got to -5, so it
Oh,
died and was undead. But we were so deep into sunk cost fallacy, and I was like, surely this goes somewhere. Eventually, I gave up and uninstalled it.
wow. So there'd be a lot of games that you'd try and just don't touch again, I'm guessing.
Yeah, honest, there are. Like on Twitch, it's very rare that I'll finish a game. Like we picked up Silent Hill 2, and I don't remember Silent Hill 1, so Silent Hill 2's like introduction into this is Silent Hill, this is why I'm here, is honestly pretty bad. You
Yeah.
go to a town and you do a series of random as shit tasks if you don't remember Silent Hill 1. It's like go over here, fix this record player, go to fucking Steve's house down the road, and find this thing, and it's like okay, and
And
why
all
am
of a
I fixing
sudden
this
it's
goddamn
meant to
record
make
player?
sense.
And then it plays a track, and you're like, oh yeah, that was my wife's favorite track. Cool. This is a terrible way to set everything. So we did one stream of that, and we never touched it again. Silent Hill
That's
2, the remake is good, but like it's just yeah, for not remembering Silent Hill 1, it's like what?
that's funny. Do you find that affects your viewership like on Twitch, like switching the games that much?
Uh no, not for me. Again, my viewership has been in the dumps
Kind of
since
used to
I
it.
started kind of doing TikTok and not putting effort into Twitch. So no, people turn up for me at this point. Never a game. If you are a streamer out there listening, it's not particularly a secret. If you grind the hell out of one game,
Yep.
you will in fact, believe it or not, get more viewers. But these viewers will also only care for you
About
playing
that
that
game.
game.
Yeah.
So at the moment,
There's like from what I hear is like a 10 to 20% retention rate on those viewers.
it depends. It's
Yeah.
always unique to, like how good of a caster you are. If you are good and you can drag people into the I like camp, which is doable. You've got casters like, Tim the Tap Man, lots of other big ones. They started playing Counter-Strike. Everyone watched for Counter-Strike, but they were so captivating that once they went somewhere else, didn't
Everyone
matter.
followed.
A lot of people followed. So, for someone like that, I'd say probably 60% of their like active base would follow.
Okay.
For someone that's like, let's say you speak 2 words an hour and you play Valorant and you're really good at Valorant, but you are as interesting as, paint drying. You're probably gonna have a retention rate of like 5%
Yeah.
if you move over to another game.
Because they're there for your good gameplay, not necessarily you.
Yeah,
It's
I
a,
guess
it's
that
a,
opens up another like interesting tangent where it's like when you're making content,
mm,
you can make informative content. That's good. It does well. That's what I do a lot of the time. But
yeah.
when you stop making that kind of content, and you
And
want
yeah.
more like community focused content, you're not really gonna have that much because
Mm,
you're an information source and not a character or a person that people relate to.
yeah.
So if you can find like a really good strike of this is informative content and also
It's
this
got
is me
me
as
in
a
it.
person. A
Yeah.
really good example on TikTok actually is a guy called Wisdom.
Wisdom.
He's a fashion influencer and a model, and he
Oh,
does ridiculous videos like, "Hey, can you style every year since the beginning of time as an
I think
outfit?"
I've seen this guy.
Yeah, his video production is insane, but like
Yep.
he indirectly informs an audience of how to dress, and this is what fashion's like, and then also just makes his videos,
Yeah.
and puts a lot of personality into it. So if you want to, you don't have to go as crazy as Wisdom, but if you want a good creator to look at on TikTok, Wisdom is good. I don't know his exact but
Yeah, find
just
him
type
if you search
wisdom
him.
fashion, you'll find it.
Well, it's a good and I think your channel and like your TikTok stands out to me. Like that's how I first saw your content. I saw you through TikTok, and I think you've got a good personality, and you've like your personality shown through your content. And so I think that's a very good, very valid point to focus on trying to make that a consistent element. So if you do want to move, because I think, yeah, I first saw your TikToks, and then I first met you at TGX, and I'm like, oh, I
That
know you.
guy, the guy that looks tired all the time. That's
Yeah.
the most common comment I get. To which I always reply, "It's not tired. I just have thin skin. It's genetics." Okay, god damn it, kid.
But I do stay up a lot.
No, I sleep a lot.
Oh, you do sleep a lot?
I sleep plenty. It doesn't look like
Okay.
it. That's why I get scammed, unfortunately.
Ah, damn. That's funny. So how has TikTok, like, obviously TikTok's a lot more focused. Have you found it change, like, has affected your growth in other platforms? Because you also do stuff for shorts. Do you like transfer them? Like, do you post the same TikToks on your shorts as well?
Sometimes.
Mm,
I'm kind of pretty picky with the ones that go on YouTube.
yep.
But I should get in the habit of pretty much posting them all because who cares?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll put a TikTok up and it'll kind of fall flat and it'll
Yep.
be on YouTube and it's like, oh, that's okay. Got 750,000. Okay,
It
seems
makes no
good.
sense. It's weird how it does that.
Yeah, it's just like sometimes like on an algorithm, there's so many things on TikTok that just the algorithm hates you for dumb reason.
Yeah.
Like little things if you use their paid promote service, it hates you after that
Oh,
because
really? So
it
if you use it once, it's like,
not
oh, this guy.
necessarily, but it'll get to a point where it's like, I think the algorithm will kind of like, oh, this person has paid for something. So if we give them a like, really crap viewership for a little bit, maybe they'll pay again.
Yeah.
Even though every time that I pay for them, it's because it's a contractually like required
Oh,
thing.
so you're paying for someone's content, and then that's basically just hamstringing them at the
Yeah,
same
so
time.
I pay for a contract that someone's like, "Hey, can you spark code it for this much?" So it
Yep.
gets because once you make a sponsored thing on TikTok, the algorithm will just be like, "No."
Yep.
It'll get like 1/10 the views, maybe if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's not the case, but most of the time. Um,
That's probably, is that due to that? Is it more to do with the algorithm, or just because the like people viewing it realize it's a sponsored video and they don't want to get sold to?
on the inner workings of TikTok, they are very money focused with everything they do. So I would not
Yeah.
be surprised if the algorithm kind of uh, like forces people to like advertisers or creators to kind of put money into their sponsored stuff if they want to see like
Yeah.
a
Right.
good return. I every time someone comes to me and they're like, "Yo, we want to make a video," I'm like, "Cool. Are you gonna spark it? Because if not, it's not gonna do good."
That's very interesting. It's okay, I have kind of noticed that myself with TikTok. So I post a lot of stuff for the creator dashboard, as well as my own content, just every now and then. And I'm the creator dashboard, especially stuck between that 200 to 700 viewership trap. It's usually either 200 to 300 or 700 to 800. And then I'll be scrolling through TikTok and I'll get, oh, do you want to boost your content to get out of the 200 viewer jail? It's like, so you
Yeah,
can
you'll
see the
get that.
angle. You can see the
It's very
angle they're going.
targeted. You're like, and then if you do that, they're like, "Cool, we got your money," and your algorithm will suck, and you'll be even worse. So
Mm.
don't do that.
That's interesting. It's yeah, it's quite interesting. So has it helped you with your Twitch? Like, do you get people coming over from TikTok
No,
anymore?
not really. No.
No.
I don't know. I never really built it with the intention of getting people to come over.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll co-stream on both, but I don't really mention that I'm ever, I don't know. There was never an intent to get people to come to Twitch.
Mm.
It's funny because Twitch's entire strategy was, oh, we'll let people go out and bring people back, and I was like, no,
It's not proper.
why?
Well,
why?
yeah, and
Why
I
would I
think
bring people back?
it was already proven not to work. Like, anything back when TikTok really started taking off in 2022, a lot of Twitch streamers were doing that. Like, it was like every second post on my TikTok feed was like someone going live, or like I'm live on TikTok and stuff like that, live on Twitch. And I think it was kind of proven that people don't like moving between platforms when they're in a session, you know?
Yeah, like if someone is already watching you on TikTok, it's pretty rare they'll move. Some like the only people I ever see that move over are people that are like, oh, I can get that 16:9 viewing experience, so they'll come over for a bit. But it's
TikTok's
pretty
kind of
rare. That's
solved that.
like 1 in 50 people, maybe.
Yeah, well, TikTok's kind of solved that already now because you can do the vertical or horizontal view with TikTok now.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I don't think many people use it. I think it actually locks you out of a bunch of their other features, which they don't tell you.
Oh,
Some of their actually genuinely good features like
yep,
co-streaming, unless they've updated this in the last like 3 months.
yep.
But the second you select that like split canvas, it locks you out of a bunch of other features. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
not
I
ideal.
don't recommend it to our creators. I just say just do vertical.
Right.
Because most people will be watching vertically anyway, and if
Yeah.
if the stuff is good and engaging, they won't care.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess most people are more than happy to keep. Like, I guess if you got to think it from like the general viewer point of view. Like, I feel like a Twitch viewer is a very specific viewer that they're used to watching stuff on Twitch. They're not likely to change. And even still, actually, if you're watching Twitch on your phone, you usually are holding it because you want to see chat anyway.
Pretty much.
So horizontal may not necessarily work unless it's very specific. There's a specific need to.
Yeah, like I don't know if you want to do your normal 16:9, like actually, I don't know. The other thing people don't or need to get is the engagement style, specifically when you're live on Twitch and TikTok. It's just so different.
Yeah.
Like on Twitch, you can sit back and it's very personality heavy, and you can have long winded conversations, right? Because people will view for more than 4 seconds. On TikTok,
Yeah.
they will view for 4 seconds. So in that 4 seconds, it's like, can I maximize any form of engagement that they could bring?
Yeah.
So
Do
you
you find that?
default.
How do you find that experience as a creator between Twitch and TikTok?
It's tricky. But for me, because I worked out that these styles are so different so fast.
Yeah.
It was my expectations of the two platforms are very different as well. Like if people are just talking and saying silly things on TikTok, or I'm throwing out engagement questions like just really dumb quizzes like what country has a longer coastline between Japan or Australia, and just everyone's answering that. I'm like, cool, very good. Algorithm will like. That's all I'm focused on. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
on TikTok, like the other night, we had this massive conversation about like stuff
Sorry,
like
Twitch.
protests.
I
Sorry,
think
yeah,
you.
on Twitch.
Yeah.
On Twitch, we have like conversations about protests that took place in Newcastle because I was
Yep.
there. Like that was last week. Ah, you probably saw it. Maybe. We blockaded the world's biggest coal port. You see, we'll talk about that stuff on Twitch. We won't talk about that on TikTok because the second you bring up protest or like many things
Yeah.
on TikTok,
TikTok
it'll be
banned
like,
you.
"What did you say?" And then it's like, "Oh, my viewership dropped by 50% because I mentioned the word Palestine." Oh, what's happening? Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'd imagine that'd be quite a big mental shift because, like, a lot of people were doing the co-streaming for a bit, but I guess your priority between the two would negatively affect the other one because, from what I understand, I don't go live on TikTok. Um, TikTok, you've got to be like you're saying, like really engaging. You got to be constantly just like throwing out engagement things and recognizing people are there because it's constant. I guess if you're doing that to both audiences, your TikTok audience would, Twitch audience would probably go, "This is annoying."
Yeah, shut up. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like if you want to do TikTok live, you're welcome to message me. You can find me on places. I'm sure my social medias will be somewhere on the screen at some point. Um, you can message me, and we can start you. We have like some resources and whatnot over at Gamer Talent if you genuinely want to try. Um, but it is definitely reserved for people that really want to give it a go. And one of the first things I always tell people is if you don't need to co-stream, don't co-stream.
mm,
Because it's better off focusing on one thing.
yeah,
For instance, like it's I don't really recommend people ever go live for more than like an hour and a half on TikTok live. Somewhere between an hour and 2 hours is like the sweet point, but after that, it's like don't bother. That's the Twitch thing to do.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I honestly would recommend like the best way to do it is to go live before you go on Twitch if you've got the time. Cut an hour out of your Twitch stream even if you need to because it's
uh,
it's more worthwhile.
yeah,
Go live, play a game that you probably wouldn't play on Twitch, something that's pretty easy, understandable. People can work out what it is at a glance because again, you've got 4 seconds. And then at the end of that, you can go, all right, well, we're gonna continue this live on Twitch, and that's when people will follow because they don't have the choice anymore. If they like you,
Yeah,
they'll come.
they'll come. Yeah. Okay, that's a good. I guess it's a good strategy for people that want to do both.
Yeah,
Uh,
like the main TikTok live strategy we go with, it's like post a video an hour before you go live an hour later. That'll kind of, it'll create
Work together.
a little, yeah, like your videos will promote your live will promote videos. There's no reason not to do it. And then you go on live for an hour. It's like cool. Maybe go to Twitch, see if you can bring some people with you. That's if you care about Twitch. If not, just stay live on TikTok, or turn it off and make another video and go again. I don't know. You could,
Well, I mean, I guess I should. This is probably a harsh question to ask you, being the Twitch community manager, one of the Twitch community managers. How much do you care about Twitch these days with everything that's been going on?
still a lot.
Mhm.
It's where I started. It's still my favorite thing to do. So a lot.
Yep.
Even at Twitch HQ, I was like, "Yo, can you guys, work on this and that?" It's like one of
Yeah.
the big things is obviously ads for me because I think they're insufferable.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
trying to feed them ways of fixing it, and then Dan Clancy turning around and going, "Cool, I'm gonna go into the karaoke room," and it's like, "Thanks, Dan. Glad you listened." Like one of the ideas I had for them was pretty much, they're really focusing on putting everything on the user end, all the encoding and stuff, taking it off the server. So I was like, why don't you do the same with ads? Like, if you're not familiar with Twitch, if you go into a channel, you'll get a bunch of ads. If you leave that channel and go into another channel, you'll get a bunch of ads. So if you're trying to
Yeah.
find a channel to watch, you just
You're
get a
getting all
bunch
these
of ads.
ads. Yeah.
I was like, why don't you do like an ad passport system where it's like you go into a channel, you've watched your ads, your account is now ad free for 30 minutes rather than
Mm.
doing it the way that's
Yeah.
currently promoted, which is
Rather than per viewer or per streamer, it's per, like, by the viewer, so they don't get ads all the time. Or like,
Yeah, like the
yeah.
way it's currently done is you'll go into a streamer, and if they play their own ads, that channel will be ad free for 30 minutes. But it's like, it's just have people don't want to sit there and watch ads to try and find a streamer to watch. So they congregate in the same streamers until they get sick of those streamers. And then they're like, well, screw this. I don't
Oh,
want to find a new streamer unless they raid
mm,
into someone. Which,
yeah.
yeah.
I think Twitch really, I don't know what their focus is, and I think they really need to focus a bit more on user experience, a lot. Because I don't know, like, I feel like people who like Twitch are used to Twitch and they're used to the way it is, and so it's really hard for the platform to bring new users in when you've got platforms like TikTok just capturing everyone's engagement. So it's I feel
As
like
far
it's a
as I know, and contrary to what a lot of people would believe, and this
mm,
this came from their mouth, Twitch is actually growing. It doesn't feel like it, but apparently it is.
oh,
I haven't looked at any of the stats. This is just what they said. Obviously, that term growing where would be the first thing to ask, but
probably the US.
yeah, but yeah, bringing because Twitch is very like ultimately it's community focused, so
Yeah.
driving people out of finding communities is a bit of a dumb idea, just to get a little bit of advertiser rev. But I guess the
Mm,
platform does require quite a lot of advertiser rev
it would.
because it's expensive.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a cheap platform to run. Interesting. So, back to TikTok. What kind of TikTok content? So, this is probably bringing up a different question that I don't have written down. What's is a TikTok live strategy very separate or different to a TikTok, like, video strategy? Like, how in related should they be? Like, does your current follow account really matter, or what's the question I'm just trying to put it together the right way. Like, somebody's doing a lot of, like, a TikTok account, and they're singing in their TikTok,
Mm.
but then when they go live, they're playing games. Like, how important is those two kind of, is that relation?
I mean, ultimately, the more focused your content is across the board in everything, will translate better because people will have a level of familiarity with what you do. And if it's like night and day, then they come in, they're like the hell. But like I
Mm,
said earlier, if you're focusing on interjecting a lot of your personality and people see it rather than, oh, they're not doing the normal thing, dance monkey, what the hell? And it's more, oh, this is this person that I think is already really cool, and now I get a chance to chat to them. If you can somehow swing it that way, then it's not really that important. But I think strategically on TikTok, one of the main things to tell people pretty fast is make sure that TikTok knows what you are, you know?
Mm,
Because if you're putting out cosplay content and then you've got gaming content and then you've got some random vlog content, TikTok itself won't know how to classify you. It won't
yeah,
know how to give your content to the end user because it's like, I don't know what you are. So
yeah,
if you don't know what your channel is, TikTok is also not going to know what your channel is.
mm,
So ultimately, stay focused if you can.
yep.
You can probably be a little bit lax with live, but the closer it is to your original content's ultimately better.
Okay, that's good to know. So, what kind of TikTok content are you seeing work these days? Like work the best?
Beyond the human psychology of nonsensical rage bait and just negative content, because that fundamentally works just with the human psyche.
Yeah,
People,
but like your mental health after doing that kind of content.
yeah, don't make that content. We don't need more of it. Don't be
Yeah.
the problem. All right. Just because you're drinking poison doesn't mean you should start poisoning everyone. Okay. But like, uh, the thing with content is it's not about what you make. It's about how you make it.
Mm,
You could make anything. There's always Francis. He literally films himself being in love with trains. To 99.99% of people, we don't give a shit about locomotives, you know? But
yep.
the way he does it, the way it's delivered, and the energy he delivers with it, it makes you care about the thing. So it's
Mm,
it's never about what you're making and like what content's working. All forms of creating videos and anything, it's always about storytelling and evoking some kind of emotion. It doesn't matter what you're making. As long as you can achieve that, and the other side of this coin is some kind of informative information. But the content that always works as a creator, because ultimately you want to build a community around you, is this content that is evoking emotion, telling stories in many different ways. You know, you could be telling your story, you could be telling stories. You could, yeah. So it's never about what the content you make, it's about
yep.
how you make it, how you package it, and what it is.
Hmm.
So once you learn those fundamentals, it's like I could make anything. Like there's rug cleaning content on TikTok works because it's satisfying, you know?
Yep. So, how would someone get better at the storytelling side of it? Like just that in general. What's something that someone can do to improve that?
There's so many ways. There's so many creators out there that focus on showing people the art of making a video. So many. And I mentioned packaging before, and the
Yep.
first thing you need to work out is what is this platform,
Mm,
right? How do people use this platform? And if it's something like TikTok, congratulations, you've got like 2 seconds. So your storytelling needs to be real concise at the first moment. Like the first shot really matters. The
yep.
first thing you say really matters. Um, visual, audio, all of it at the very instant at the start matter a lot. But if it's something, like YouTube where you can build intrigue because people have clicked in on a thumbnail or a title, you can your art of storytelling, it could take like minutes to get to the point of the video, but as long
Well,
as it's
that being said,
captivated.
I think the same theory applies. It's just not condensed. So, like with YouTube, the best videos are like you've got 30 seconds because someone's like they've clicked on it, so they've given you a little bit more time to play with, but it's harder for them to get away. So there's
Yeah,
somewhat a captive audience for that 30 seconds. But with TikTok, it's like I've said this before. Like
they will
I'll
scroll.
swipe, but before I've even registered what's been said,
Oh yeah.
I'll register it and I'll go, hang on, I want to watch that. You go back to it. Like that happens a lot.
Yeah, that's why I sometimes genuinely have a second. And look, you said it the best right there. Is like there are fundamentals to making videos.
Mm,
There are fundamentals to storytelling. And the creators that do really well have mastered said fundamentals. And if you want the easiest way to work out how or like what they're doing, it's simple. Actively and intentfully watch what
mm,
they make. Watch the start of their videos. Sit there, and if you really liked a video for a second, be like, why did I keep watching it? If you didn't
mm,
like a video, why did you leave?
yeah.
Like once you start asking these questions and you start noticing trends, and you have to kind of have a bit of an open mind because you are not your viewer. But once you start kind of working out, why did I leave? Why did I stay? What did they do at the start? What caught me? What made me immediately interested? What didn't make me immediately interested? once you start seeing those things, you can start mimicking them and
Yep.
making them your own.
Your
And
own.
once you work out that, it's like cool. The other way is, go look at YouTubers and be like how to master an intro.
Yeah.
Um, I think mine are pretty average, but mine are also really default, and I put no effort into them at all.
That's interesting. So, oh, I did have a question to go from that. Like, you've got a lot to say here, so I'm trying to like process it, and it's like it's really really good stuff. Um, so how often do you like do that? So intentionally go back and watch content for research purposes. Do you find you do that much these days, or are you pretty comfortable with where you're at?
It's kind of like a habit, really. Like once you start doing it, you can't turn it off in a good way. And
Yeah.
sometimes you will watch brain dead content. You'll turn it off,
Mm.
and you'll be like, I don't give a damn. I'm never gonna make a Warhammer 40K video. Thank you, Major Kill, great YouTube channel. But I'm never gonna make that. But I mean, even then, there are many ways. It's like, oh, Major Kill's intros are so good. It's Warhammer, but so I don't know. It's a habit.
Yeah. Well,
Once you
I guess
start doing it, it's like, oh,
you're switching off your consumer brain and turning into like your creator brain. So you're not consuming the content anymore. You're actually intentionally watching it with an intention to learn from it. I think.
sometimes it's not that I'm intentionally watching the thing. It's just like once you've got like a trained ear or a trained eye, you'll notice the thing.
Mm,
So it's like, I'm not intentfully watching Warhammer videos at midnight to go to bed to. It's supposed to be, this is brain dead, I'm turning off. But it's like, oh, that quip and the way that they use comedy here and there to like make sure that this bit is not dry as fuck, is keeping me engaged even when I'm trying to sleep.
yep.
So it's like, oh, you just kind of habitually are like, oh, this, that, and this are really good. And yeah, it's just a habit, really.
Well, actually, I think a good analogy or a good way to look at this habit is I was just thinking, like, I do that when I'm watching something with my wife. I'll go, "Oh, did you see that? That's what they did here. This is why they did it," and she hates it because I start picking stuff apart. But I guess you just got to do that and just have a notepad, so you don't have to pester your partner, and you can actually make
Yeah.
good use of it.
It's honestly, a lot of making content is looking at other people's content, working out why it's working. Sometimes a lot of people, and there's no shame in it, is almost borderline copying people's
Mm.
content. It happens. It's normal. You'll probably only get so far copying people's content because you have to make it your own
You,
eventually. But
you will have to inject your own stuff into it.
yeah, also arguing at some point beyond obvious literal plagiarism. Like when
Mm.
you make your own stuff, you are interjecting yourself into it because you made it.
Yep.
Um, mm.
Yes, I guess it's a good strategy for. I mean, when I've started out, I looked at a lot of creators and like wanted to make my videos much like those videos. And I guess, as you say, because you're doing it your way, it's going to come out
I think
differently.
that's the normal path, honestly.
Mm,
Like, when I started, it was like I watched a couple streamers and it's like, I want to be like them.
yeah,
And then you do that, and that's fine. That's normal. So if you're in that stage of creating content, don't worry. Eventually, you will work out your own content.
because I
That's
think
just
it's
the
a
pipeline.
good point from that is that a lot of people try so hard to be unique that they don't do anything because they're trying so hard to be something that nobody else has done, and especially in content creation where you get so much practice by actually just doing it and you're learning so much by just doing it that it kind of stops you and stagnates you because you're trying to like be something that doesn't exist or like trying to be so unique.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do content. Um, One of the really good examples that I love is Cardboard Cowboy, if you know Cardboard. If you don't know Cardboard Cowboy, highly recommend his Twitch channel is insane. He's quite literally a cardboard cowboy, and he's got an entire cardboard world, and it's absolutely insane.
Cardboard Cowboy.
But
Okay.
he still does a lot of the normal things that streamers do, right?
Yep.
It's just packaged in this wrap of, oh, it's made an entire cardboard world. He's a cardboard cowboy. There's this massive story, and like, if you want a stupid level of production quality and effort, he's also Australian. Um, it's crazy. You'll have to just look it up. I can't even do it justice. It's so good. But the point
So
being is like
okay,
he's
so
found a
it's
way
like
to be unique, but
it,
also do the thing.
is it a puppet? Is he like a puppet? Like is that what's going on, or is he?
No, it's like a mix of 2D animation, and he himself is wearing a real hat, and he's green screened himself into this puppet body, and it tracks on it everywhere, and it's amazing.
What? it's like a hybrid of like uh VTubing in a sense.
Kinda, not really though. I get what you mean. Like the body is all VTube, but the face is real. It's kinda, yeah.
Wow, that sounds very interesting. I'm gonna have to check it out after
It's
this.
like
That's very
reverse VTubing, reverse anonymity.
wow. So with your TikTok channel, sorry, yeah, TikTok channel, you do a lot of like gaming review content. Well, sorry, not gaming review content, just in gaming informative content.
I don't even know what I classify it as. It's
You like gaming news almost.
kinda,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're
I
just
do
telling
cover
people
stuff.
about
There is
cool
news, yeah.
stuff. Like I actually watched your recent one about the the click holding.
Oh, yeah, that was something.
Did you actually play that game? It looked very interesting.
It's a very short game. It's like an hour and a half long, I think.
Yeah, right.
It is a strange game. Very
Yeah.
strange game.
So I guess a lot of that content. Do you do any like the trending content that like is like everyone is used to on TikTok, where you're like following a trending sound, dancing or anything like that? Do you do anything like that, or you specifically just stick with what you're kind of
Oh, I
what you know?
never do trending sounds. I will cover trending games sometimes, or trends because you know the more people that are actively searching for a thing means the more people you could grab
Yep.
outside of the algorithm, directly spoon feeding it to people. You know,
Mm,
but I never do like big trends just because I don't know, I hate trends.
fair enough.
So I mostly focus on things that I find interesting.
Okay.
Every now and then I'll watch a video from someone else and be like, "Oh, that's a good idea." You know, I'll do the spin on it.
Yeah.
Like if I open up my script thing, I have, you know, 2024 hidden gems. And that idea was prompted by I'm mind blanking the name. Um, yeah, mind blanking the name, but they had that video basically already made, and I was like, oh, you know, I have some hidden gems from this year, so I'll do the same video, but you know, my list instead.
Okay, that's interesting. So I guess because you follow a lot, like you're following mainly just what you're interested in. I guess it makes it easy for you to make the content, and you don't get burnt out as much because you're not forcing yourself to do what you don't enjoy.
Yeah, I burnout will definitely come from things you don't enjoy, but you can burn out on things that you love as well. So it's
Yeah,
all moderation, really.
yeah. So
Which
how
is
do you? Sorry, go ahead.
or earlier where I was talking about, you know, like going live on Twitch every now and then, even though it's not going to get money or progress. It's like that's the thing that you like doing, and it's different.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's just sit on the couch and watch Warhammer videos to avoid burnout. You know.
fair enough. So how do you manage your burnout? Like what do you do to manage your time so you're kind of on top of things? Because you have a lot of moving parts in your content schedule. What do you do to manage your schedule?
My secret is I don't have a schedule at all in any way,
Oh,
shape, or form. Like the loosest schedule is, hey, maybe try and make a TikTok video every day, but that's like sometimes it's a 30-minute endeavor, sometimes it's an hour,
mm,
sometimes it's you know takes a bit longer. I'm gonna have to get more of a schedule though because I am starting another project because recently you've been a bit obsessed with you know Magic the Gathering.
yep.
I literally have cards in front of me. So we're starting like a gameplay commander channel, and that takes quite a while to make. So it's
Yeah,
gonna have to be a bit more like intentional.
a little bit more structured.
But yeah, the
Ah,
schedule. As a creator, I've never had a schedule. It's like I do the thing, turn up whenever. That's the beauty of being a creator. It's like you don't have to. You don't have. You're not on a 9 to 5. You know, do thing when you want.
mm,
Uh, that's kind of what I do anyway.
yeah, interesting. Okay, it's good to hear your take on it. So, just I guess let's shift the gears a little bit. What games are you enjoying right now?
Right now, I've not been playing anywhere near as many games as I would have liked this year, frankly.
Mm.
Mostly because I just cannot stay home. Um, I hilariously still have not finished the Elden Ring DLC, which is insane because that came out in June.
Oh, I haven't even finished the main game. So,
Fair enough. It's funny because like people are like, "Wow, you must be really bad." I'm like, "No, I rocked up and everyone was like, this boss is harder than Melania." Nearly killed it first go, killed it second go. I'm like, I'm not struggling. I just have not been home.
fair enough. You just not don't have the
Uh,
time.
what did I play the other night? We were playing some Power Wash Simulator the other night. Always enjoyed that. Great game to to kick back to. We did some very recently. Silent Hill 2, did not like. Speaking of, let me right click uninstall that. Yep, done. Goodbye. Um, Elden Ring is still on there. I've got a bunch of games that are in need to play, but haven't had time.
Mm. Oh, you should see my list. It's intense. Every time there's like a Steam special, I'm like, oh, I really like this series, and I'll buy like the whole series. I think the last time I did it was Dragon Age, and yeah, I'll play through these games.
I'll
Yep.
finish them in 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I think it was a few years ago that I bought the Dragon Age, but I've done it with Yakuza. I bought all the Yakuza games.
Oh
So
yeah.
will I play them? I played one. We
Yeah,
have the
I
best
bought
intentions.
Silent Hill and I was like, I'm gonna play it. I played like 2 hours and I was like, yep, okay. Really wish I bought it on Steam now, but Steam was like $130 for some reason.
Oh man, it's funny. So what's so we're getting towards the end of our the session or the interview. What are your top 5 tips for content creators who might be just starting out?
You did ask me to prepare this, and I'm gonna be very honest. I did not prepare this because I again have not been home today. You're like, hey, can you prepare 5 things? And I was like, oh god. Um,
Sorry,
mm,
I will say I probably should have asked you to do that at least a week ago. So it's probably a bit on me.
yeah, today, literally today. I was like, oh, dude, damn. Oh god, it's really hard. I guess, geez, it's so loaded. I guess one of them is to work out what the hell you want to do.
Mm,
Um, and buckle down on that. Like, if you want to make dumb history videos, then like buckle down on that. Do it. Commit to it. Um, Spend your time well. That there's like going live on Twitch over and over again nonstop for hours on end and getting one viewer is not. If you want to make this into a career, you're not doing any favors there. Don't do that.
yeah, that's fair.
Um, yeah, it's hard. If you want to try doing stuff, there are so many resources out there these days. Like you can even, like, if you're already a creator on Twitch again, you can come to me. We can get you started on TikTok Live. I can help you out there. Um, you can find us at Gamer Talent, or you can just message me on Twitter. I think anyone can do that. Um, and if you're not on Twitter anymore, I don't know what Blue Sky's messaging functionalities are, but you can message me there too. What else is there? Oh, just plan, like if you want to make content, just think about, would you watch your own content? And if
Mm,
you don't watch your own content or don't want to, or you think you're boring, guess
yeah.
what other people are gonna think?
It's
You're
actually
boring.
I had that realization early, like a couple years ago, not a couple years ago, a year and a bit ago, just before I started actually doing really well on my own YouTube channel. I was like watching back through my videos, like I was editing. I'm like, I'm fast forwarding it. I'm like skipping bits. Like if I'm skipping these bits, that means I'm not finding it interesting. And so if I can't sit through my own video and watch it start to finish without losing interest, then like somebody else is not going to do it, because like at least I like myself, so I can sit down and watch it. If I can't watch myself, then how am I going to expect some total stranger to sit down and watch my video? So
Yeah,
I
I
I
guess
cut.
rather than giving 5 tips, I'll give one. It's be intentful.
Okay.
Like have an intent. Uh, Always moderate your own stuff. Always ask how can it be better. Always look at things and be like, why does this work? Why did this not work? I think creating as a once you start to stagnate, then it's downhill from there.
Mm,
Which sounds like a lot, but like even when it's streaming, there's this thing called eventizing, where rather than just turning on and playing a game like everyone else, it's like, how can I make this an event? How can I have this secondary thing that is
eventizing.
encouraging people to be there and do something.
I haven't heard
Like,
that term before.
yeah, it's like one of the most successful ones we did was like, I could play Skyrim, or I could play Skyrim where every single person there can spend bits or channel points on Twitch to absolutely ruin Skyrim while I'm trying to play it. It's like,
Yeah,
it's an event.
you're making.
Everyone can be in on it.
Yep.
That's why streamers like iShowSpeed and Kai Cenat do so well. Everything they do is eventized.
Yep.
There is no normal stream. There are guests on all the time. They're in a different place. They're doing something.
Mm,
The story is simple. It's like, come along. We're gonna go do some shit. rather than come along. We're gonna sit here and play fucking stalker and just look at a camera.
That's a good point. I think one thing I tried doing, and I think YouTube videos do this well. Like you have like a YouTube video specifically designed to make like a thing like surviving 100 days in Minecraft or in hardcore. So it's like a specific thing. Do you think that translates well to Twitch? If someone was to go live and say like, "I'm trying to do this particular challenge," is that kind of the same kind of vibe?
Like I've said a million times, packaging. It's always
Mm.
about packaging. You can do the exact same thing in any video. You just got to realize that you are live. There is no video editing. You have to keep that engaging the whole time. So it's like, rather than, doing it on YouTube, it's like you can cut out all the boring shit. How do you fill in the boring shit now?
Ah.
Any concept you can do anywhere on any platform. You just have to package the thing right.
Yeah, right. So I guess it's a bit of a shift in mindset from just like going live and clicking the live button and just playing a game to like I'm actually going to go live with the, as you said, the intention to entertain people with whatever I'm doing and
Yeah,
like make
like
that.
you go in, you got a plan. Today's stream is this lovely little thing called crowd control. It's like just a
Yeah.
plugin on Twitch that lets people just interact and make things go crazy, Um, but yeah, I've done so many streams with that where it was eventizing like I have 12 hours to beat Dark Souls 3. You have 12 hours to stop me. Ludwig. Okay, if you want
Yeah.
a
I love
pristine,
love
perfect
Ludwig.
example,
Yeah.
Ludwig.
Yeah, he's
All of
great.
his streams that he ever goes into, they're all eventized. Every single one of them. It's why he does so well.
Yep.
Like just going into a stream with a basic concept. It's very funny. He had a 47-second stream the other
Yeah.
week. I don't know if you
Yeah,
saw
he
that.
does that if he dies or like he ends I'll end stream if I die
Yeah,
situations.
he had one where it was there is a secret word. If anyone says that secret word at any point, the stream ends. That was it. That's an idea of eventizing, right? It's like everyone's like, "Oh fuck, yeah, this is like this
I want to
treasure
find
hunt for
this
this
word.
secret word," and then
Yeah.
I will end the stream, even though they probably want to watch him all day. But it's like, oh, I forgot what the stream was. It was like, sorry, the word. I know it was a very random word, but you can find the video.
Yeah.
It's probably just titled "My stream ends when someone says this word" or something
Yeah.
like that.
No,
But
he's
yeah,
done a similar one where it's like if I get killed or something in the stream, I've seen a couple of them. He's really good at that kind
yeah,
of stuff.
that he intentionally goes live with a plan on that day to this is the thing that's going to happen. Hello, audience. This is the thing that's going to happen. Guess what? Everyone's like, oh, I got to watch for when he
Yeah.
dies because this could be over at any second.
Mm.
So everyone's sitting there waiting for you to die. You could go 6 hours without dying, but everyone's waiting for it.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think that's pretty good advice there. That's really really good. Shifting my perspective, I think recently Ludwig's doing the trying to play League and trying to make it to plat on League.
Yeah, even that itself is like this is a story that works bigger for better like large creators, right?
Mm.
Because people will watch that.
Yeah.
If you're like one viewer, I'm going to get platinum in 30 days. It's like, oh,
And you're
people
sitting
probably aren't.
on bronze and your gameplay's pretty shit.
You have to get people to a point where they care.
Yeah.
You can't just go out about it like immediately because people are gonna be
Well,
like,
I
okay,
guess because for Ludwig specifically, like he doesn't play League. He didn't play League, and then he had that whole situation where he was like pestering, what's his name, the League streamer. I can't remember his name. Yep, he was. He was having some beef with like this prominent league streamer. I can't even remember his name. And then I think that's why he started
mm,
wanting to stream it just as a bit of a challenge to that person.
yeah.
I can't
So
even.
obviously, like these streamers have followings and people care about beef they get into, right? But like, yeah, Joe starts streaming tomorrow. He's bronze 5, and he's like, "I'm gonna get to platinum. I'm gonna do it." This is the thing. It's like, okay, no one cares.
Just you
Sorry,
and
Joe.
everybody else, buddy.
Yeah, it's like I guess the point to take away from that is sometimes it's really good to look at big streamers and why they're doing the things that they're doing, but sometimes don't exactly copy them because the things that they're doing work because of their size, not because
Yeah,
of yeah. So once you work out, it's like, oh, this works because of their size, because everyone knows Ludwig doesn't like League of Legends and he had beef with this guy, and now the story is he's trying to prove him wrong.
yeah,
Like this is a socially created story that is culminating with Ludwig from years of him existing and creating a community.
yeah. That's good. All right. So one bonus question I've got for you. I did tell you about this one. What do you want to learn more? in content creation? What do you want to learn more about?
Probably more on the production side. I think, like completely mastering lighting, videography, a bunch of stuff like that. Mostly
Mm,
audio in situations where it's not sitting right in front of a microphone. You know, like when you have four people at a table and it's suddenly it's all about lav mics or using boom mics and having rigs above head and like out of shot. But you know, getting things to sound and look good, kind of
yeah,
like no matter where you are. Videography is definitely one of the cool things that you want to learn, or I want to learn. Like once you learn videography, your ability to storytell just goes. You know, like movies. You've watched. Everyone's watched movies. There's so many shots in movies that like the way they're positioned, the way they're
yep.
framed, the way they're lit. It like tells a million things. And like for something like TikTok, right? If you master that,
It
it can
still
be like a really
applies.
good shot where you do that thing where you scroll by, but you're like you go to scroll and you're like, wait, that look awesome. Go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it all still applies, like because it's essentially how the human brain kind of takes in the information. Like the golden ratio is a big one that's used a lot in movies, where like they'll position things like of interest on the the third lines, and then empty space, and it's just visually appealing. But unless you know what to look for,
Mm.
you don't appreciate it. But
Yeah.
it still has the same effect on everybody.
Yeah, I guess that's a really fun thing, right? It's like the golden ratio exists and all these things exist, but when do you break that? When do you do the other thing? And because you did the other thing, everyone's like, oh,
I guess it depends on that would depend on what you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to jar someone, like if you're trying to make something uncomfortable and feel
mm,
unnatural, that's when you could probably pull it off. But if you're trying to make something really
mm. And
nice,
that's exactly why learning videography is sick.
yeah,
Like if your intent immediately out of the gate is, I want to make everyone really uncomfortable in 3 seconds, and they're
yeah,
gonna watch, you know,
yeah.
bam.
Well, so I think a really good example for filmography is Arcane.
Oh
Have
yeah.
you watched it? Like every single scene shot in that show has been so meticulously thought out. Like if you pause a frame, you can see exactly what they're trying to accomplish it with like the rules of like filmography. It's really really cool.
Mm. Yeah, Arcane visually is it's so good. They've done a really good job. A lot
Yeah.
of people are saying that the second season, the last bit's a bit rushed. I haven't got there yet, so
Oh, you have.
uh
Oh, okay. I won't say anything.
what no, even season one from jump from like the opening shots, like I just go watch Arcane's intro, you know, both of them. It's fucking so good.
Yeah. Do I will say I do. I kind of see what people mean. Where it could be. It feels a bit rushed. The scenes happen very quickly. Like they're trying to fit a lot of information in, but I also think that they've done it well. That it doesn't. It feels long though. Like they're getting a lot of information in. It doesn't feel like it's rushed and you're like losing time. I still felt like the episodes were quite long. So
Yeah, I mean that's probably a lot of the way they planned it, right? It's like this is a very chaotic situation. Things move
true.
fast. We are going to move
True.
things fast, but we also want it to be like, you know.
Yep.
I think it was always planned to have 2 seasons. We're getting really off track. I think it was always planned to have 2 seasons though. So yeah,
Ah, I yeah, I'm happy to talk about Arcane a lot because I think it's freaking sick. But yeah, no, 2 seasons was always the plan. But I think they're doing three
yeah. There's three
spin-offs
spin-offs.
now.
Yeah, yep. So
Yeah,
that'll be cool. If they, I think the budget for that was only like 250,000. I might be really wrong, but if that is true, 250 grand to achieve that. Let's Google it. Arcane season two budget. Did they 250 million? Okay.
I was gonna say 250,000 seems very small.
Yeah, it does.
Because that's like one voice actor.
Yeah, I was like 250K does not sound right. 250 like that. Yeah.
250 million. I think it's one of the most expensive animated TV shows that's been
Breaking
made.
animation records, apparently. Yeah, anyway. Um they killed Arcane. I can't wait to see what they do next. Hopefully, financially, whoever's doing it, 250 million was well spent.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I wonder what they'll do with the art style because I hear that they're not going to go with the same steampunky look. I wonder if they'll keep the same cell shaded style or they'll go with something different.
I mean, the steampunky look worked very well for Zorn because that's kind of it. You got the hex
Mm,
core, all the above town, like everything is steampunky. So it's cool they went with that style. But I guess we'll see what they do.
yeah,
I can't imagine it'll change a lot, mostly because people have
Well,
expectations now, but we'll see.
Netflix is going to be like, well, we want this to make money for us. You need to make it very similar. And then, I think the Arcane creators are going to be like, there's going to be a battle between who gets control over that decision.
I mean, the art style in Arcane changes so often. Like, there's just so many scenes where it's like, oh, it's real gritty all of a sudden, and like all the line work is like, wow.
Yeah.
Like it changes in itself a lot. So I think they've demonstrated at whatever style they go for, it'll be sick.
Yeah, I think so. Cool. Well, it's been a very good chat, Phizzi. You've got a lot of knowledge up there, and for anyone who's watching right now, this is yeah. I hope you've gotten something from this. If you want to check out Phizzi's content, it's just Phizzi.
If you type in Phizzi, you'll probably find the Twitch channel. If not, it's me, Phizz, on pretty much everything. If you type in Phizzi, you'll find TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, probably.
Yep. And what was the tags for your agency?
So it'll be Game Talent. Let me double check that is. On Twitter, it's at gamertalent.org. You can also DM Leto. He's at LETOFSKI Letovsky. You can find him on Twitter as well. Or you can just DM me, which is probably the easiest way. Yeah, and we can maybe think about getting you started on TikTok live if you are very interested in actually going for it.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, it's been great having you here. Thank you for your time. And yeah, everybody who's been watching this so far, I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it so far, give the video a thumbs up. Obviously, the engagement does help the video. And if you want to learn more about being a content creator and you want to level up your content creation skills, subscribe to the Creator Dashboard. And we'll see you for the next video. All right. See you later.